After the miscarriage, Ethan only touched me once a month, always during my ovulation period. One day, out of boredom, I scrolled through my phone and stumbled upon an online account where a secretary documented her private moments with her boss. My boss comes to me every time after being with his old, overweight wife and transfers $5,000 as compensation. I'm so happy. The comments were full of people mocking the boss's wife, encouraging the secretary to keep milking her rich lover for everything he was worth. But as I read further, something gnawed at me. The dates of these payments, they matched the same days as my ovulation. That night, Ethan came home late, his breath heavy with the stench of alcohol. I had been lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, when he stumbled into the bedroom. He made his way to my side of the bed and gave me a shove through the covers. "Emily," he slurred, his voice thick with irritation. "What the hell are you doing asleep? I'm not even home yet and you're already in bed. Get up and make me something to sober up." I groaned, turning over slowly and muttered under my breath, "Make yourself some honey water." "What?" he barked, not fully understanding me. I sat up a little and raised my voice, feeling an unusual wave of defiance wash over me. "You heard me. You've got 2 hands. Make your own damn honey water." Ethan stood there, stunned, as if I'd slapped him. In the past, I would have jumped out of bed at his demand, eager to avoid another argument. But tonight, I couldn't care less. He narrowed his eyes, his expression darkening. He turned and stormed into the bathroom, slamming the door behind him. The sound of the shower running filled the room, but I barely heard it over the numb buzzing in my head. When he came back, his hair wet and towel slung over his shoulder, he climbed into bed beside me without a word. Then suddenly, his hand slid over my body, tugging at the hem of my nightshirt. A cold wave of anger and revulsion shot through me. I jerked away from him, my voice trembling as I said, "Stop it." Ethan blinked, confused. "What's wrong with you now?" he snapped. "You do remember today's your ovulation day, don't you?" The words sent a chill down my spine. For the past 2 years, ever since the miscarriage, Ethan only touched me on these specific days. He called it improving efficiency, like I was some machine that needed to work better. But tonight, I couldn't go through with it. Not this time. I felt his eyes sweep over me, and I knew what was coming next. He sat up, looking me over with disgust. "Look at yourself, Emily. When's the last time you actually looked in the mirror? You've put on weight and let me tell you, it's not flattering. You've got rolls around your waist. And trust me, not many men would be willing to touch you like this. You should be grateful I even bother." His words were like poison, but tonight, they didn't cut the way they used to. I felt nothing. No sadness, no anger, just a hollow emptiness. "Then don't touch me," I said quietly. "I don't want your pity." Ethan stared at me, speechless for a moment, as if he couldn't believe what he was hearing. His mouth opened to fire back something cruel, but before he could, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He glanced at the screen, his eyes narrowing. "Don't come begging me later when you realize what a mistake you've made," he hissed, snatching his phone and storming out of the room. As the door clicked shut behind him, I lay there in the silence, staring up at the ceiling. From the hallway, I could hear his voice, soft, but distinct. He was laughing. When was the last time he had laughed like that with me? Who was on the other end of that phone call now? I reached under my pillow and pulled out my phone, my heart pounding. A notification popped up from the account I had been following. "Ah, so happy. Boss didn't even touch the fat old wife tonight. He saved himself just for me." 3 exclamation marks. They felt like daggers, driving the last shred of denial out of me. It wasn't a coincidence. The boss who sent his secretary thousands of dollars every time he slept with his wife was my husband of 5 years. The account updated again. This time, it was a screenshot of a video call. The screen showed the secretary's pale, exposed skin and the chiseled muscles of a man's chest and abs. I stared at the image, feeling cold wash over me. My hands moved without thinking, quickly taking a screenshot and saving it. I wasn't sure how much time had passed when Ethan returned to the bedroom. There was a smug smile on his face, the kind that told me he'd just had his ego stroked. He barely glanced at me before he said, "Tomorrow morning, I want homemade pan-fried buns. The stuff you buy outside is dirty. Get up early and make enough for 2 and bring it to the office." "For 2? I blinked, and then the realization hit me like a punch in the gut. He wanted me to make breakfast for him and his lover. My husband, the man I had walked through fire for, was asking me to wake up early and make a meal for the woman he was cheating on me with. I felt something inside me shatter, a part of me that had held on to the hope that maybe, somehow, we could fix this. But now, it was beyond repair. "Ethan," I paused, meeting his eyes directly. "Let's get a divorce." The next morning, I made breakfast for 1. Ethan came down and frowned at the table, glaring at the soy milk and donuts I had prepared. He stormed out the door, but before leaving, he angrily threw a porcelain sculpture to the floor, shattering it into pieces. It was a souvenir from our honeymoon, a memory from a time when we were happy. He was sending me a message. He could destroy everything we once held dear, just like that. And if I kept pushing him, he could do the same to our marriage. Last night, when I had first mentioned divorce, Ethan had been stunned for only 10 seconds before he recovered, scoffing at me. "Divorce? Over breakfast? Are you out of your mind, Emily?" he spat. "Do you even know how many women would kill to be in your position right now? I've given you a life most people can only dream of, and you have the nerve to ask for a divorce." His words were meant to hurt, to break me down as they always did. I saw the flicker of satisfaction in his eyes when he noticed my face falter, but this time, the cracks were different. That morning, after he left, I went to the gym and hired a personal trainer. Over the last 2 years, I had gained some weight while preparing for pregnancy, but I wasn't the old fat woman Ethan made me out to be. After sweating out the pain, I began to think about life after the divorce. I started updating my resume, preparing to re-enter the workforce. I couldn't be isolated from the world any longer. As I browsed job listings, my phone rang. Hello, is this Mrs. Parker? This is Mr. Parker's secretary, Chloe. He has a dinner meeting tonight. Could you please bring his light blue Hermes tie to the restaurant? And don't take too long. She hung up before I could even respond. Chloe knew who I was, but the arrogance in her voice was unmistakable. She wasn't trying to hide it. She wanted me to know her place in Ethan's life. She expected me to fight, to make a scene. But that was exactly what she wanted, to push me out of the picture. And if that's what she wanted, then so be it. As soon as I stepped into the venue, I was intercepted by Ethan. His eyes darkened as he spotted me, and he quickly blocked my path. His voice was low and laced with frustration as he leaned in close, ensuring no one else could hear. "This is not a place for a housewife like you," he hissed. "Get out before you embarrass me." He paused, then his expression shifted to smug arrogance as he crossed his arms over his chest. "Heh, last night you were shouting about wanting a divorce, and now here you are, chasing after me. What's the matter? Can't bear to lose me? Realize that no one else would want you?" His words dripped with condescension, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I calmly looked past him and waved at the woman standing just behind him. She had been eyeing me curiously, as if sizing me up from the moment I walked in. "Miss Chloe?" I called out, my voice steady. Ethan's eyes widened slightly, and he followed my gaze to his secretary. His brows furrowed as a huff of irritation escaped him. "Emily," he snapped. "You're still going behind my back to contact my secretary? Are you trying to get her fired too, like the last one?" I held up the paper bag I had brought with me and extended it toward Chloe. "Fired?" I raised an eyebrow at Ethan. "Are you really willing to let her go?" His expression faltered for a brief moment, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. Why would you think that?" he stammered, clearly caught off guard. Meanwhile, Chloe had taken the bag from me and was pulling out the silk tie I had brought. She held it up against her light blue dress and then pouted playfully at Ethan. "Mr. Parker, you didn't send me a photo of your outfit this morning. I wasn't able to coordinate our outfits like usual. That's why I asked Mrs. Parker to bring the tie. See? It matches perfectly." Ethan shot me a quick glance, clearly expecting a reaction. But when he saw my calm, unaffected expression, he looked almost confused. Unfazed, he reached out and took Chloe's hand, guiding it to his neck. "Come on," he said smoothly. "You tie it for me. You know how I like the cross knot. Not like her," he added with a dismissive wave in my direction, "who only knows how to tie that old-fashioned Windsor knot. She's just as boring as her knots." Chloe's face lit up with pride and she practically preened. In front of everyone, she boldly hooked her fingers around the tie and yanked Ethan toward her. Their faces were so close that their noses nearly touched, and I could see the heat between them as their breaths mingled. As I watched the scene play out, I felt a sense of detachment wash over me. Taking a deep breath, I reached into my purse, pulled out a small key, and held it out to Chloe. Her eyes widened and her face flushed with excitement. She stared at the key like it was a winning lottery ticket. "Miss Chloe," I said, my voice cold but polite, "this is the key to the front door of our house. From now on, you can come directly to the house to help Ethan pick out his clothes, and while you're there, you can check if the decor is to your liking. Once we finalize the divorce, feel free to move in." Chloe's face froze, the excitement draining away in an instant. She blinked, stunned, clearly not expecting that turn of events. The next second, she looked at my husband.